Hi guys! Welcome back to Marcus Approved Games. It's me, Marcus Approved, and today we're talking about Dead by Daylight. Welcome back everyone for another episode of Rise and Shrine, the weekly show where we talk about new perks available in Dead by Daylight's Shrine of Secrets. This shrine is active from February 9th to February 16th. Without any further ado, let's jump right into this week's round of perks. The first perk we have up this week is a killer perk, and it is every Iron Will's greatest enemy, Strider. Strider is a teachable perk for the tragic and mysterious nurse. Survivors' grunts of pain are 25, 50, and 50% louder, and regular breathing is 0, 0, and 25% louder. Have you ever had those moments when you are chasing a wounded survivor but lose line of sight for too long? You walk around all over the area you just last saw them, but they seemingly just disappeared. Then it turns out that sneaky survivor had Iron Will, which explains why you couldn't find them right away. This perk is perfect for any killer that has a hard time keeping visual track on survivors, especially the wounded ones. But as you can see, the only way that you'll be guaranteed to get full advantage of this perk is by leveling it up to level 3. All you need is a light jacket. All you need is a pair of headphones, preferably noise cancelling ones. Strider is the only true way to counteract the strong survivor perk courtesy of Jake Park, Iron Will. Iron Will grants the injured survivor's grunts of pain to be reduced by 50, 75, and 100%. But with Strider, that 100% of silence from the wounded survivor is raised by 50%. Basically, you can run, and I highly recommend that you do, but you definitely can't hide when this perk is in play. Next up is the survivor perk known as Lucky Break. Lucky Break is a teachable perk from the hardened street racer Yui Kimura of the Curse Legacy DLC. This perk activates anytime you are injured. While Lucky Break is active, you will not leave any pools of blood for a total of 120, 150, and 180 seconds. This perk becomes permanently deactivated for the remainder of the trial once the total duration has elapsed. Now this is an interesting perk to have. You will absolutely get value out of this perk since it's almost a guarantee that you'll at least get hit once in the trial. This really can be extremely useful against killers that rely on following dropped pools of blood to find the wounded survivor, especially against the Wraith's perk, Bloodhound. With Bloodhound, pools of blood are shown bright red and can be tracked for 2, 3, and 4 seconds longer than normal. The best advice I have for anyone wanting to equip Lucky Break is to have a strong medkit or find survivors around that can heal you to preserve the use of this perk throughout the trial. 180 seconds or 3 minutes does and doesn't sound like a lot of time, but in the realm of Dead by Daylight, every second counts. Moving on to the next perk, another survivor perk known as Live. Live is a teachable perk for the objective-focused gamer Fang Min. After performing a rush vault, breaking into a sprint at 150% of your normal running speed for a maximum of 3 seconds. This causes the exhausted status effect for 60, 50, and 40 seconds. This is what we call an exhaustion perk, one that causes the exhausted status effect. Running while exhausted will cause the exhausted meter to pause, so that 40 seconds won't start counting down until you stop running. And while you're exhausted, you are unable to use Live again until your exhaustion meter runs out completely. One perk combo to add to this perk that speeds up the exhaustion recovery time is one brought to you by Quentin Smith from the Nightmare on Elm Street DLC, known as Vigil. With Vigil, you and your allies within a range of 8 meters recover from exhaustion, hemorrhage, hindered, and blindness status effects for 10, 15, and 20% faster. Once out of range, this effect persists for 15 seconds. There are always opportunities to vault in every trial, so you're guaranteed to get value from Live every match. And for our final perk this week, we have the legendary Hex Ruin. Hex Ruin is a teachable perk from the one and only renowned Mud Witch, the Hag. Whenever a generator is not being repaired by a survivor, it will immediately and automatically regress its repair progress at 100, 150, and 200% of the normal regression speed. Hex Ruin affects all generators. The Hex effect persists as long as the related Hex totem is standing. In every trial, there are 5 totems randomly scattered and hidden throughout the map. and with this perk, one of those 5 will then become a Hex Totem. These are differentiated by being illuminated by ritualistic candles underneath the base of the totem. One strong perk combo to pair with this is courtesy of the Blight from the Descend Beyond DLC, called Hex Undying. While Hex Undying is active, survivors within 2, 3, and 4 meters of any dull totem have their aura revealed. And as of yesterday, this perk has officially been adjusted to when another Hex Totem is cleansed, that totem then becomes the Hex Undying totem, deactivating Hex Undying. Any tokens the transferred Hex had are transferred as well to a different totem. Basically, your Hex Ruin is saved one time from being cleansed. You get a freebie. Hex Ruin is a classic and essential for basically any build. And there you have it, folks, our perks for the week. Let me know in the comments which perks you're going to pick for yourself, or even let me know if it's better worth saving your shards for next week's shrine. As for me, the Marcus Approved perk of the week for Survivor is going to have to be Live. This exhaustion perk is very strong, and you will always have opportunities to get some great use out of it. This is also very useful for any survivor that isn't very good at looping, or just learning how to. The trick is to run around as long as possible, and right before things get too serious, you vault and get some much needed speed and distance away from the killer to different and probably safer areas. A significantly strong perk combo is combining this with Dance With Me and Quick and Quiet. Dance With Me is a Kate Denson perk. When performing a fast vault or leaving a locker in a sprint, you will not leave any scratch marks for 3 seconds. Quick and Quiet is a Meg Thomas perk. The vault and hide actions noise detection and audio range is reduced by 100%. Basically, with this build, you'd be quickly escaping the killer without providing any indication of your whereabouts. And for you killer mains out there, the Marcus Approved perk of the week is Hex Ruin. This perk is iconic and legendary for a reason. It used to work completely differently, but this perk is still essential to receive the generator's progression. All you need to do is injure a productive survivor to scare them away from making progress on that generator, and boom, you're causing that to already begin losing its progress. The obvious downside is that this perk does have the ability to be deactivated by survivors, so once it's gone until the next match. But what's life without a little risk? And that about wraps up this week's episode of Rise and Shrine. But first, I want to thank you again so much for watching, and if you've enjoyed and or found this useful, go ahead and leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and ring that little bell icon to get notified when I post the next episode. Thank you again for watching, and I sincerely appreciate your support. Until next time, my name is Marcus Approved. Now go out there and make this week you approved. Bye guys!